Hey everyone, we just came back from a tournament at what was Berkley Games?
Yep, Games of Berkley.
Games of Berkley,
Which happens to be in Berkeley.
I know, right? Just putting the name inside the location makes it easier to look up. So we did a 50 Soulstone tournament. Oh, excuse me. So we had a 70 Soulstone.
So fixed
pool.
master.
Yeah, fixed master with a 70 Soulstone pool, excluding upgrades.
Yep, 70 Soulstones of models, not including their upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to build your list from that. Then you got upgrades on top of that and all that.
Yeah, so we'll just
50 souls.
We'll just talk about our Gist Masters and what we brought during our games.
Yeah.
So I'll go first. I brought Lucas McCabe, and God, he's so good. He's such a good master. He performed very well in all my games, but we'll go into more detail. Casey, what about you? What'd you bring?
Grabbed Ironsides to bring along.
Ironsides.
Yep.
Overall performance?
Good. There was a couple games where I made mistakes. Like the game against you, there was one glaring mistake that could have changed the outcome.
Yeah.
And of course, first time against the Victorias and seeing just how rough they get.
Bad. As bad as Misaki. So we'll jump right into our round one. So, my round one was against the guy who got first place at Malifaux this year. And he brought Marcus. And my list consists of 4 Guildhounds, Luna, the Dawn Serpent, McCabe, and I think that was it.
Did you bring a monk or anything?
Oh yeah, sorry, a monk of Wanderer
Okay.
monk, and that was my whole list. And so pretty much the gist of it was, I know what Marcus can do because of Casey. When I played it,
Even just the one game gives you a lot of ideas. Stuff like Law of Meat and.
Well, he didn't do Law of Meat, but
well, the other two, you had problems with Domesticate, sounded like.
So pretty much just the game was, I knew, like Marcus, he had a walk of 8, so it was like there's nowhere, like anywhere he needed to get to on the board, he could get there. So like the first 1 or 2 turns was us dancing around. The strategies and schemes. I had Leave Your Mark and Undercover Entourage.
It was Guard the Stash.
Oh, Guard the Stash.
With a pool of Convict Labor, Exhaust Their Forces, Leave Your Mark, Undercover Entourage, and Setup.
So I took up Undercover Entourage and Leave Your Mark because I brought the monk in. Like in hindsight, right now, I should have held my monk back a couple more turns, and I could have jumped in and dropped 2 markers. But luckily, I was able to score 2 points off of the 3 for Leave Your Mark, so not too bad. But yeah, I leaped my monk in, he got killed, and then eventually he just chopped away at my crew. Just chop, chop, chop. But the one thing that was the major turning point of the game was he brought, what's her name? With Practice Productions.
Yes, the Cassandra.
Yeah, I brought Cassandra. So Cassandra, I with my Dawn Serpent, did I say Dawn Serpent in my list?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my Dawn Serpent charged in. I flip a negative, flip for damage. Like, okay, I'm not going to hurt her. I flip the red Joker with the Dawn Serpent. And he needed, to save her, he needed a moderate. To be able
Soulstone Prevention.
Soulstone Prevention.
Needs at least a moderate.
Needs at least moderate.
But flips a 1.
He flipped it, it was like a 4. He flipped a 4.
Flips slow.
And he doesn't save her. And if it wasn't for that, I would not have tied it. So it ended in a tie. A 6-6 tie.
And you said that getting rid of her Practice Productions was a big part of that?
Yeah, I wanted to get rid of her Practice Productions. Yeah, because he was able to score, I think, 1 point off of it. Because he couldn't, he had the Malifaux, he brought in the Malifaux Rap Plate.
Oh, and what's the other thing that was big about her?
Undercover Entourage.
She was the other Entourage target.
So two of his schemes were tied to her. And just in that lucky red Joker got me a tie during the game. And if it wasn't for like that was like the major moment, and he also did some of the Marcus shenanigans where it's like, oh, I'm gonna turn
Oh yeah, turn McCabe into a beast.
Turn
and
McCabe
then-
into beast. Okay, I'm gonna take over McCabe. All right, McCabe. Well, now dismount for me, buddy. I was like, God damn it.
Well, and that, I kind of like it because he turns. I figure he takes control of his horse and has him buck off, and the horse
he falls off.
horse runs away.
But when he dismounted,
Yeah,
I ran him
that's
to my to
rough.
the other side of the board and just like sat there
Yeah.
with a sword.
There's a reason most abilities like that to sacrifice your own model can't be used outside their activation. There's a couple models with that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if those are newer than McCabe, and they just,
Well, I mean, it's a
or if they've
weakness.
learned, or if they intentionally left it, since it doesn't actually totally kill McCabe. It just dismounts him,
Yeah.
and it hurts his total durability. But
Yeah, but it's not going.
it's not a game ender.
Yeah, it's not a game ender. Like it was at the point right now where I was far enough in the board that losing like if I lost McCabe's horse form, it's not a big deal. I mean, it was a big deal, but it's like he's a slow McCabe.
Right.
And I was able to get across
slow. Oars are smaller, but he's fine.
Yeah, he's just slightly slower. But I went over there and I sat on top of a ski marker, protecting it from being removed. And so, like I said before, it ended in a 6-6 tie. So that was my first game. So how was your first game, Casey?
So I took, for the first two matches were the same list of Ironsides, the captain with his upgrade. Oh, and Ironsides had Challenge the Crowd, Seize the Day, and Iron Determination, her thing to up her durability. Then the captain with his upgrade, 3 Oxfordian mages with the new upgrade to make them 5 points and a little more durable. So that's great, especially so they. That was part of this, was experimenting with that. Then I took Mouse, her totem. Very highly contested, but so far all 3 games he did well for me. So Mouse, what was it rounded out with? Oh, a performer, and brain farting now on the last.
We've been gaming for a little while today.
So, and I was playing Perdita. So he basically had the Perdita crew from her box, minus her totem, and then he had an Austringer and the Lone Ranger in there. So no captured Nelfin, but the rest out of the box.
That's a super elite crew. Wow.
I'm trying to remember exactly. So you've got Frank, Nino, Perdita, 6 models. Yeah.
That's very tiny.
Actually, the interesting thing, he was really light on upgrades. He had trick shooting, which
that's probably why.
why don't you trick shooting? That's the other. He had Destro. This was interesting, and it didn't come up during the game, but it was an interesting move. He had Destro on Papaloco.
Okay.
A lot of times,
a
a lot of times you think Frank because he's going to go into combat, but it makes sense for like throwing Papaloco into a force because when he dies and explodes, you want it to be in the middle of the enemy. So you throw Destro, you have him charge in.
What's Destro do again? It's
So, models do not randomize for this model when shooting into combat. His number is the 1. And the second thing Destro does is, when you're in base contact with an enemy, I think it's somebody shooting in gets positives to attack.
Okay.
Not you getting negatives, they get positives, yeah. They get positives for shooting at things you're engaged with. And they don't randomize for you. So the idea, but it never really came up because he was never shooting at anything Papaloco was engaged with. And Francisco had his personal upgrade that gives him a healing flip and hard to kill.
Okay.
So things went pretty bad. I think it was first turn. So we move out. I ended up taking exhaust their forces and set up on Francisco. So we go forward. I managed to hop in and get in combat with Nino. There was some a lot of moving and pushing going around, but Nino does his where'd he go, disappears. Funny thing, despite absorbing a lot of damage, Ironside's of course still standing. That's what she does. It was
except for Dawn Serpents.
It was Willie. That's the other model I had. Willie.
Mm-hmm.
Willie.
You're Willie.
Went down first turn.
Sorry. Sorry, I just went back to first grade.
Yep.
Okay, so Willie went down first turn.
So Willie went down to a combination of shots.
Mm-hmm.
And I really was on the defensive as far as models getting lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just pretty bad.
Well, I mean, that's
the funny thing is, taking out Nino helped. That took, I took out Nino before he activated one turn.
Mm-hmm.
The great thing is Ironside 0 action to place 6 inches.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's engaged with Nino and Francisco and uses that to hop behind a guard the stash marker.
Mm-hmm.
A stash marker, so where nobody could see her to shoot at her, and she just, after punching 3 times to hurt people, pops away. And it really came down to, there was one moment where I could tell he was really confused when I used the Performer to Siren's Call to pull Ironsides towards her at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because it brought her within hand-picked men for when I activated a mage, and I flurried at not Francisco, Santiago and cover. So no cover because hand-picked men triggers because the mage was wounded. 3 shots takes him out in one go. Or no, he didn't. He was alive at 1 wound with burning. So, but I had given him slow and pushed him to where he couldn't see anything. So he had almost nothing he could do. He was so far out of position and slow. And he has Shrug Off, but it doesn't work for slow. So because when you it's a 0 action to remove conditions. So by the time you activate, I've already had slow trigger, so you can't Shrug Off. You don't even have slow anymore. You're just at 1 AP when you try it. Yep. So Shrug Off isn't perfect. Paralyze and slow, it's still bad, but burning, poison, that stuff, they're just like, whatever.
I don't care, yeah.
Or even like if they're stalked.
Yeah,
they could Shrug Off stalked.
Yeah.
And so that one, the biggest thing is he had set up on Ironsides, and he triggered it when there was 1 marker next to Ironsides.
Yeah. So
he got 1 point from that. Of course, the way his crew was built, I'm not sure he would have gotten much more. Because, Ironsides, she has a charge of 8 with an engagement of 2. She can accidentally leave your setup markers. Like, I'm just going to go charge this thing and ruin setup that I don't even know is there. And so by 3rd turn, I had huge activation control on him, and when he was done activating, I had 3 models left, and they all just walked up towards Francisco and placed scheme markers. And I got set up on him pretty easily that turn.
You only got 3 rounds, right? 3 turns.
Yeah, we got to turn 3. And I won, I think it was 6-3. That one.
See, my game was very intense. I thought I was going to lose it, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
And we did all 5 turns. Did all 5 turns.
Okay.
So it was lucky. So we'll go into my game 2.
Yep.
So yours was 6-3.
Yeah.
6-3. Mine was a 6-6 tie. So Casey was playing at the top table at that time.
Oh.
Because you're the only winner. Yeah, one of the only winners.
Oh, right. You got a draw.
Yeah, a draw. My second opponent was against a guy. He was a 10 Thunder player. It's been I almost. This is the first time I ever played 10 Thunder player.
Okay.
10 Thunders and 10 Thunders. He brought. It was a really weird list.
And so this one was...
Shenlong.
no, I mean strategy.
Oh, strategy.
What is it called? Turf War.
Turf War. Really weird. These are two like centralized, like go here and hold the points.
Well, that's just the month we're in for gaining grounds.
Yeah, it was Turf War. Leave Your Mark was still there.
Okay, so Turf War with Convict Labor, Show of Force, Leave Your Mark, Covert Breakthrough, and Frame for Murder.
Frame for Murder. The ones I picked was not Covert Breakthrough. I picked Leave Your Mark, and what was it? Yeah, I'll check. Leave Your Mark and
Was Show of Force, maybe?
Show of Force, yeah. Oh, yeah, Show of Force. So, and it was a bloodbath. The guy was a lot new. It was pretty new, and I warned him about like all the stuff you can do with McKay. He's like, "Oh, it's okay, no problem." He puts a Gyrokumo. He get like so he ran Shenlong, 3 Thunder Archers, the Lone Swordsman, and 2 Gyrokumo. And what he does his first turn is like, okay, I push the 2 Gyrokumos, give him fast. Okay. And, you know, the archers are getting into positions for shooting. And the table we played on was absolutely... It was weird. I didn't like it.
It was a sort of forest table that was choked with severe and blocking... dense terrain.
Yeah, like, as a recommend, if the gentleman says washes the channel, so...
that particular table is a little bit tight.
Yeah, I'd say, like, it maybe cut... There were these really big things that we used. Like the best way to treat them was severe, and then like there was like no real maneuverability for us like to go around. Like luckily
pushes become very important.
Yeah, pushes become very important, which 10 Thunders have a bunch of. But for me it was like my crew's very fast. You know, I've got 6 moving hounds and I've got a 7 moving cave. I have a Dawn Serpent.
Even the hounds are 7 if they're within Luna's thing.
Yeah, and then I've got the Dawn Serpent, which I don't care about terrain. Yeah, I just go fly right through it. And like for him, he was slowed down a lot. He advances up. I have activation control. I throw a. It was gross. It was really gross. I had a Dawn Serpent. Like I was activating my Dawn Serpent. I gave him reactivate, nimble, and the sword. I charge in. Okay. I 2-shot his Gyrogumo. and then I charge his Lone Swordsman. I gave reactivate. And no. I nimble to his Lone Swordsman. And I put 2 attacks on the Lone Swordsman. I get him down to 1 wound. I get him to his hard to. No, I can't. I got him to his hard to kill just purely on damage. Then the following turn activates. He wins initiative. He put some damage on the. He got the serpent to his hard to wound or hard to kill. I killed his. I killed the swordsman. Advance up, and then McCabe goes in, kills a second Gyrokumo, and accomplices into a hound. Sends the hound in. Finishes the Gyrokumo off. Pretty much, I tabled him. That's it was. Me constantly like, all right, pushing dudes in, and the archers did some damage to me, but it wasn't that much in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
And the score was 10-3 at the end. So it was just me killing everything, and he couldn't really do anything. I even killed Shenlong. Actually, I killed Shenlong with a combo charge from a hound and him, and just accomplishing into the hound with a here's my sword, hound. And just be like, gross.
Yep.
And so, like I said, 10-3. And the only reason he got he had enough models to score Turf War once, and he got 2 points for frame for murder because I killed the Lone Swordsman with the Dawn Serpent.
Oh, okay, frame for murder on that.
So 10-3, and that was the score.
Okay.
And how was your matchup? You
so it was basically the same list. I'm trying to think what difference is.
Mm-hmm.
Some upgrades got moved around. No, that's what it is. I fit Joss in there with some upgrades, and I took out the Performer and Mouse for that particular game.
Mm-hmm.
and maybe something else. But I managed to fit Joss because I saw a show of force. I wanted a few more upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
So this was Victoria's. I'd only played the Victoria's one other time.
That was the same guy too, right?
No, it was a different
Was it
player
different? Oh, okay.
at the store. And the thing is, this particular setup just was not prepared to deal with them the way I was that game. Because I had Rasputina, who has basically a lot of good answers to them.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, not so much. So when Ashes gets slungshot forward and kills Joss turn 1, and she's got the thing, so she has basically the same thing Joss does, ignoring armor, hard to wound, hard to kill. I think defense trigger's the only thing she doesn't ignore.
Oh, only, right?
Right. Well, it's like why he said anything with something along the lines of squeal can deal with it. So that jumps in there, and that was his last activation, and I didn't have much left at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So that pretty much denied me. Actually, the funny thing is, despite that, turn 2 onwards, I lost Joss, but he was popping so many of his upgrades to be so aggressive that the captain, sitting around with 2 upgrades, was able to score me show of force every turn that the captain was around.
Okay.
So that's another. We ended on 3. So actually, one thing, second turn, the game might have gone very differently if I had won the initiative, because the problem was, Ashes is the henchman, right? Well, whatever.
No, blood is.
Oh, so
Blood is the damage one. That's what I know.
Okay, blood activates again, and basically moves over to where Ironsides and 2 mages are, and starts going to town over there. Yeah. Can't quite do as much because she's focusing on Ironsides, but the thing is, even with that, getting Whirlwind off and attacking my 2 mages, just ridiculous.
Whirlwind's it's good.
So it would have been very different if I had won, because I would have moved Willie over and started punching her with dynamite.
You know what that list needs, Casey? 3 Malifaux rats.
No, 4 rats.
4 rats. 4 rats.
4 rats to do the rat. Yeah.
Oh. And that was this. Sorry, I know we're going off topic here, but that would have been scary to deal with. Like
they can still summon them to how to activate you turn 2.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so. Well, she got away to the other side. I still got framed for murder on Willie because I moved Willie over, and it's like, deal with my blasts. And so it was Vanessa that shot him off the board. So I only got 2 points instead of 3, because if I had engaged blood, I probably would have got 3, and wouldn't have been able to kill my mage and put as much damage on Ironsides. Would have probably changed that a lot, but it is what it is. He flipped a 13, and even with Seize the Day, I just couldn't deal with it. It's actually really funny. Captain's Relic Hammer managed to take down, it was the giant robot.
Lazarus.
Yeah, managed to take out Lazarus. I killed Blood. Did a lot of damage, but he just basically pushed me right off the turf marker.
I mean, with that list,
yeah, he was very aggressive in your face. I was putting out a lot of damage, but it just wasn't stacking up.
With the blood, though, it's
another case of the terrain. There were very few places to go, and there's a lot of big, boxy blocking terrain. I don't know. Anyways, so got some for show of force, frame for murder, but in the end, I think it was 3-6 in his favor at the end.
All right, now. I don't care who won first place. This was the match of the century. All right, we got to play against each other. We were playing for second place. All right, and I'm just gonna ruin it right now. For those of you guys who watch this channel, who watch us play every single time, Casey kicks my ass all the time. When it comes to being on camera,
a lot of close games, but so far
he kicks my ass.
All the recording ones.
Yes. And you know what, guys? I think it's his camera. This is the camera. This is why I'm losing, is because of the camera.
It's a cursed camera.
Because I play against this guy at a tournament, and I'm like, all right, he's gonna kick my ass again, and I beat him, and I win this one time.
It was
And-
3-6 again, right?
And there's no proof. There's no proof. Like other than like people at the tournament, like the other guys that are there. There's no proof of me beating Casey. So I just want to share that. I just like
that good.
yeah, you're just that good on camera, right? It's like someone was joking about me. Why I win so much on Kings of War on my channel, but I lose off channel. Maybe it's just how it balances out. All right, now back to the game.
Yep.
Sorry, I just had to let that off my chest.
This one was Reckoning.
Okay.
With convict labor, show of force, exhaust their forces, catch and release, search the ruins.
So pretty much, it's one of the original strategies. That's when you have to kill 2 models a turn.
Yep, if you kill 2 models on, and this one can score turn 1, one of very few that can.
Yes.
Yep, if you kill 2 models, you get a victory point that turn.
So in that game, we'll probably go into more detail because that's probably that was our last game. It's probably also the most probably the most interesting.
So go ahead and do your list.
So my list was 3 Guildhounds, Lucas McCabe, Dawn Serpent, Wandering River Monk, Toshiro. Oh, I forgot to. I played Toshiro all 3 games, and I had 9 models. Luna too. Oh yeah. Luna, 3 Guildhounds, McCabe, Toshiro,
Dawn Serpent. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Well, I knew I was just out activating you for sure.
Well, that's because I took Ironsides, Mouse, the Captain, Joss, Howard Langston, and Willie. I had 6 models.
6 model.
Yeah, so that one, that was back on the forest map. You played that one twice. I played the circus map twice.
Wasn't my favorite.
Yeah, so that one, there were two big mistakes I made.
Yes.
The first was, it was this big foresty thing, and I went a little too aggressive for Ironsides. I saw the opportunity to lure a hound towards her with her "you looking at me," and basically I really should have had her further back because I knew what you can do with the Dawn Serpent. Nimble, reactivate. This is the first time I've seen it even fast with the Shiro.
Yeah.
So pretty shenanigans. I should have seen it coming and played more defensively.
Yeah.
The other is I took Show of Force and Exhaust Their Forces. And
On a
Exhaust Their
6-man
Forces
crew.
was the wrong choice. Search the Ruins would have been a lot better. Because again, I could have played defensively, huddled up towards the center, forced you to come to me.
Yeah. But for me, one of the most memorable moments was
First turn.
First turn. Casey advanced Ironsides up to the front.
Ironsides and Joss were side by
Ironsides
side down this one corridor.
Yeah. And by the time I think you were out activated at the time too.
Yeah, because you were down to the Dawn Serpent and one other model.
Dawn Serpent and McCabe, yeah.
Yeah.
So I do the general McCabe-isms of, all right, I'm going to reactivate. Here's my nimble, and
Here's the badge of speed, push 3.
Yeah, and I got him into a position where I was.
So nimble 6.
Yeah.
To get within 8 inches of. So it was Ironsides, Joss, and Ironsides had lured a hound over to her. That was that was base contact.
And I had to randomize between the 3 of them. So I randomized. Was it the first time?
The first time you just hit Joss, no blasts.
Yeah, Joss.
And you just pinged Joss once.
And then burning.
Then you hit Ironsides, and you got a blast.
Yeah.
That specifically killed the hound who had 2 wounds.
Yes.
So he had 2 more damage.
Killed my hound, and then I put more damage on that thing. And then I just went to town on Ironsides. Got a bunch of severe.
2 more hits on Ironsides with severe at least once.
And I forgot my fast AP too.
Yeah, maybe. And then because you're nimble and reactivated, that nimble walked 6 inches away
and into this terrain. And that's the thing is.
Yeah.
The terrain really did play a big part in my advantage, just because of having the Dawn Serpent. He was in a threatening position. Okay, now he's perfectly safe in this.
Well, it's also
forest.
when you've out-activated, so you have both their activations, it's like that one on the channel where I have Langston.
Yeah.
And I've out-activated you, and he's sitting there with reactivate, waiting.
Yeah.
And he just goes, boom, boom, kill the thing I need to kill.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very similar to that, where the Dawn Serpent pops out, unloads, pops away. Ironsides is sitting there with, like, one wound after all of that.
Yep. I think it was 2 wounds, but... Yeah.
Well, no, Yeah, it was 2. She took burning, she healed 1 with adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, from there was just too much damage on her and Joss.
Mm-hmm.
They died that turn. Langston even runs in and doesn't manage to do anything because there's just
Langston wiffle bats.
yeah.
Well, the one thing is I've learned about McCabe. Like, this is a lot of stuff I just learned in the tournament about McCabe. This is like my 3rd or 4th game of McCabe. That accomplice,
the hounds having accomplice. Is
yes.
Great.
Like, I was like, okay.
You know how to use it.
Yeah, McCabe goes in. Bam, 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 3 attacks. I was stoning for crows just because I wanted to ignore your armor. Bam, 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 3 attacks. Okay.
For Joss. It was the only way to,
yeah.
deal with Joss.
And then I was like, alright, dog, have my sword. And have nimble too while you're at it. Oh, yeah, did I reactivate? No, I didn't reactivate that turn.
No, because you did 3 attacks. You had to walk and charge to get to me.
And then, here, dog, have my sword. And then the dog activates for 2 more attacks. And in that round, I took down Ironsides and Joss.
I'm trying to remember exactly what, because something else went after Ironsides. The Dawn Serpent again, I think.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
And then and pretty much I think the rest of the game, I was lucky. I got Reckoning twice, which I was surprised about. How the heck does... I have no idea how people can score 4 points off of Reckoning. It
depends who you're up against, but yeah, that can be rough.
Yeah, because your average crew is like 7 models. So, and you have to really, really...
So, I think that's what we were talking about, is if I had kept Joss further back, I could have just kind of tanked up and scored show force. But the thing is, I didn't know if you had it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
There was no way of knowing until... But yeah, I would have had 3 upgrades to your 2, which would have forced you to come to me to deal with that.
Yeah. Well, see, that was... mine was Show of Force and Search the Ruins. Which... that's what I was worried about initially. That's what I was thinking in the back of my mind was, oh, Jesus, Casey... I thought you were going to play like you said you were going to play afterwards.
Right.
Like,
and that's one of those...
It
would have been the right move.
Yes.
So there's this big forest just sitting there in the middle... Mm-hmm. Where you can, if you're just outside of it, you're within 6 inches in the middle of the board.
Yes.
So, if I had just walked my whole force up to that edge on turn 1 and said,
just like toe the zone too, just like
deal
barely.
It. Yeah. And that's another, if it had been Search the Ruins, like if I should have looked at the board and said, I can do Search the Ruins on this.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you can just drop them in the back, and even if you score 2 points... That's points. Versus exhaust their forces, I have to get to you. Mm-hmm. And everything you have is too killy because even the small stuff, you're like, have a saber.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, great.
All your defenses, my saber ignores it.
Not to mention exhaust their forces in a scenario like this where you're trying to kill anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like,
okay. Also, I mean, just...
live and learn.
Having Toshiro and promises on a combat, like... Oh, I'm flipping, like, I'm your normal Joe Schmo dog. I'm flipping 3 cards to hit you with my sword.
Yeah, flipping those 13s.
Yeah, and also one thing in this whole game. First turn, I have the Black Joker, and I'm thinking, everything I want to go off now, in this for the rest of this game, as long as I'm holding this Black Joker, there's nothing stopping me.
As long as you have the cards to cheat as well.
Yeah, as long as I have the cards to cheat. Yeah, but like that's the beauty of McCabe. McCabe doesn't really require high suits.
Well, no, he needs suits more often than he needs high cards.
Yeah, because Black Flash, you need a 6, at least but I think it's either 4 or 5. I'm not sure, but it's a relatively low card of ranks.
Something like 5 or 6.
Yeah, ranks. And then to give out your upgrades, I mean, sure, if you get tomes, you get you can do it again.
Right.
But
3 and a tomes to do it again.
Yeah. But the thing about it is you need a 4. You just need a 4.
Yeah.
4 of anything just to be able to do it once. And like that's not very intensive, card intensive.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And that's why I was thinking like, okay, now I don't have to worry about anything. Because I had so many positive flips all over the place that it wasn't a big deal. You know. Also not having
Oh, that's the other thing the VIX player said.
Yeah.
That turn 1 and 2, he had the Black Joker in his hand.
No.
So he was just holding on to that.
Well, and that's the thing about
ridiculous
like,
positive flips.
For 10 Thunders especially, because probably you probably know too, Casey. Like we depend a lot on positive flips. Positive flips are what 10 Thunders do well, and like you have to I'm not saying every single game, but depending on the master, which I think McCabe might be one of those masters, even in Misaki, you know, if you have that Black Joker, hold on to it if you can, because you know like that's the only thing that's going to throw a wrench in your positive flips.
Well, it depends. That's a turn 1 and 2 for sure, because that's where a lot of stuff is happening sometimes,
Yes.
depending on the master.
Maybe 3.
But then, yeah, the end of 3, you'd probably ditch it for sure.
Yeah.
Just for the cards in your hand.
Yeah. But so that's pretty much what that and like throughout the game it was just cascading.
Yeah.
You were losing
At the end, it was kind of crazy when. So I had killed, I think, a hound or something earlier, and then of all things, Mouse runs over, throws down the red Joker to get away from the Dawn Serpent, so that he can throw his rope and finish off a hound to get that reckoning point.
To get that reckoning point.
Just bam, knocks the hound upside the head with a rope.
And I made a slight error in our game. But I was luckily because of how long
yes,
so
on
far.
the search the ruins.
Search the ruins. I almost never take it. I was like, oh wow, it's a line one. You know, you have to set it along the line, and it's not a long line because I thought it was like
center of the board, not center line.
But luckily for me, in my genius mistakes, I thought I had to be within 6 of the center line. But I was dropping ski markers within 6 of the center line anyways.
The center of the board.
The center of the board.
It's just that your monk needed to do a turnaround to get the splits right.
Which was freaking hilarious. So I pulled the monk back. A monk, Wander River monk. And I was like, alright man, I get
in there.
I reactivated him. And I gave him nimble.
Yeah.
And
on turn 3, our last turn.
Was it turn 3?
Yeah, we ended it on turn 3 because I'm trying to remember. Yeah, something like that.
So on turn 3, I activate him. He drops a ski marker in your deployment zone. 2 ski markers in your deployment zone.
Well, not deployment zone. My half.
Sorry, you're half of the board.
My half of the board within 6 of the center.
I did it twice.
Yep.
And that's what allowed me to score.
Yeah,
the maximum points.
Reactivate.
Yeah.
Because
and how mobile the monk is.
Yeah. Because that's the first turn was the Dawn Serpent.
Yes.
Second turn no reactivate. Third turn was the monk. Yep.
And that's what. So what was? I'm trying to remember what the score was.
I think it was 3-6 again. You scored 2.
2. No, I scored 3
off that.
And then I had show of force 3 turns too.
No, I think that was 2.
Two
so
turns,
7.
7.
I think it was. Because show of force for 2 turns and then killing for 2 turns. That's 4. Then 3, so 7. Or no, I thought maybe it was show of force 3 turns, so it was 6.
Yeah.
Or I mean 8, because it was something like 8-4.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And so it was just cascading effect for which. So I won the game.
I got show of force every turn just because the captain was still alive.
Yeah.
Wrecking face, dropping the Dawn Serpent to 1 wound.
Down to 1 wound. It was more of just.
Moral victory at that point.
But
if I'd lit him on fire, he'd be dead.
But see, at that point right now, there was no way I could have scored like a 3rd or a 4th point on Reckoning.
Yeah.
There's no way, and like I was pretty good at killing only 2 models a turn. I would have had to kill Mouse, which I did kill Mouse, that turn, and like killing a fully healthy captain. I wouldn't have been able to do it. I mean, I
Not
would
to
have
mention
been
he's got his
really
trigger
lucky.
potentially.
Yeah, his trigger to vapor
To
trail
push
just to get out of the
5
freaking way.
inches.
Yeah. But you know, it was
I mean, to kill Mouse and him, it would have been tough.
a
The
lot
cave
of
was
things
out
would
of
have been in my
place.
favor. Yeah, a lot of stuff would have been in my
If,
favor.
if you were after that, Toshiro might have been able to try for the first charge, but yeah. that's pretty rough.
But
You're better off just ensuring that you got Search of the Ruins.
just a lesson to you guys: positive flips win games,
Uh-huh.
and having more models than your opponent.
Yep. So basically, what you're saying is I should go back to playing Ramos.
Yeah, fucking hey, you should. Rainbow play against Rainbows could be soul crushing at times. Can't kill spiders unless I'm gonna play Asami, which get ready for her to come down soon.
Yep.
I'm excited about that. But so we're gonna go to tournament standings. So the top table was my opponent from round 1, and your opponent from round 2.
Yep.
So they faced off.
Vix versus Marcus.
The Vix guy won. But if we the person showed us the statistics. The difference between me being it would have been impossible for me to be in first place because the guy won 3 rounds.
If it had been the other way around, if he had lost instead of won, then it would have gone down to your tiebreakers.
Yeah.
Because you would have had the same.
Which my tiebreakers would have been
tournament
pretty
score.
damn good actually.
But yeah, he won all 3. He was the only person that won all 3.
Yeah.
Largely because of your first tie.
Yeah.
And so he got first place, but you were behind by 1. You were like behind by 1 total tournament point and ahead by 1 of the tiebreaker points or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So just that close.
Yeah. So I got second place. So you guys, I'm not terrible. I actually know how to play Malifaux. It's just on camera I suck.
No, you always play good.
Yeah.
You might lose on camera, but you're always making solid moves for the most part.
Yeah, it's my overall experience. If the gentleman who's running this is watching this, some recommendations I would make is the terrain placement. There was some distinct advantages and disadvantages to the terrain. Like there was this forest table with really big chunks of forest, and it was really hard to maneuver in. And I think I felt I had a distinct advantage at times just because of the amount of speed. With like having Guildhounds that are walk 6, having I'm about to say Marcus, McCabe that's movement 7, and a Dawn Serpent that's not afraid of this kind of stuff. Like movement wasn't an issue. Even to Shiro.
You know, that's the list you chose though. Like
Yeah.
it's got strengths and weaknesses for all of it.
I know
It did feel like there was a little too much terrain at times. Just line of sight being so hard to keep on my own models for auras.
Oh yeah.
That was one thing that was weird.
There's another table. Actually, I didn't get a chance to play on the Dark Circus table. I wanted to play on that table.
Yeah, I played my first 2 rounds on that.
Yeah. See, I like that table a lot.
Yeah.
It's the Dark Circus terrain is that.
You know what? One thing I realized about that one is it was perfect for the Vix slingshot because there was a pretty big open area at the center. So the problem was we were playing Turf War. So there's this big open area at the center, and the Vix can just slingshot right across it, no problem. So if you've got anybody within that range, they're within range to get murdered. So, yeah, that's one that the center had not enough. But at the same time, overall there was quite a bit. I don't know. It's one of those things that's just tough.
I think the Dark Circus was probably
everyone's just going to
was one of the more balanced tables, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Then the next,
Strengths
then
and
there's
weaknesses
the
to
Western
all those.
table, which actually the Western table wasn't too bad. I think it was just the Green Forest table. That's the only table I really had issues with.
yeah.
It was,
Certain crews having that much severe terrain is just gonna be.
yeah, certain it's gonna be distinctive. I think what I probably
Kill
would have
some
done
models.
with that is just take away one piece. take away one piece of those and just like try to distribute those evenly, or just mix and match the terrain. Because hey, people complain about our tables not having a lot of terrain, which I think I think we play pretty terrain dense, but
it depends. Some of them are more than others. There's the other thing I think sometimes happens is we will gravitate towards parts of the board that have less.
yeah.
And so when you're recording it, it looks like all of the action's happening where there's no terrain. Partly because that's where we've chosen because there's corridors for us to work in.
Yeah, but we don't want to fight in the way. We don't want to fight in terrain. Like terrain, it slows you down. It sucks.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
There's.
But sorry, we've been up pretty late today.
Yeah. And for those of you with smell-o-vision, we apologize.
Yeah. Oh my god, it was hot as balls in there. I was like burning up.
Yeah.
And playing against Casey didn't help out either, you know, because I feel like I always
sweating bullets.
Yeah, I have to always think when I'm playing against you, because if I don't, like, I can't go autopilot because in case you will find something to just beat me with.
Well, any other?
No, I
thoughts
think we're pretty good.
before
We're going off topic, but
Yeah.
it was fun. We did do a recording of the tournament, so I will probably be posting that hopefully this Friday. You know, you can watch it, and the guy who won Malifaux played in it, so you get to see him. And I did some new things with it, so I'll probably do an intro for that too, talking about. I really want to get you guys' feedback on it. All right, well, talk to you guys later. Stay faux-horrific.